Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to ncêled. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. So, nurse, she is a nurse and she works with labor and she's a labor and delivery nurse, right? And she was talking about how people that look like me are being treated in hospitals, women and all that during child labor and the rest of it. So she said she has had a discussion with some of her colleagues, and also some of them said that they do not treat their patient differently and that they do not see color. You know, something that I do not like to hear when people like this speak is that they do not see color, because sincerely speaking, you all see color. Telling me that you do not see color is a lie. Now, I keep saying this. Why is it that people that look like me are deemed different from them? Now, I am going to take you back to history, because some certain things that they do, if you trace it back, it is coming from history, and it looks like it's something that they pass from generation to generation. I don't know if you understand what I am saying. The way to the season, right? So now I am going to talk about sometime there was something like a pandemic. Nurses outrightly being racist towards people that look like me. And at some point, I also found out that most nurses that are in nursing school are all not different, because at some point, something that will happen and they get exposed. And I am going to say this: Black people, it is time we need more of us, more of you in medical field. Let's get into this video.
I'm well aware that what I'm about to say could get me in a lot of trouble, but I think it's important enough to say. I'm a labor and delivery nurse, and I treat my Black patients differently. I've seen nurses, especially labor and delivery nurses, online saying things like, "I'm colorblind, I don't treat my patients any differently," meaning that they don't treat their Black patients worse than they treat their white patients. And here's why it's not enough to be a colorblind nurse in 2023. Because I know that in my specialty, labor and delivery, Black women are more likely than any other race to be harmed in pregnancy, childbirth, and beyond. The US is the worst place to have a baby if you're Black in the developed world. Why is this not happening anywhere else? Systemic racism. If you don't believe me, just Google James Marion Sims. So not only are Black women not believed about their pain, not believed about their symptoms, but also they may put off getting something checked out because they don't trust medical providers for good reason. So here's how I treat my Black patients differently. Number one, I don't expect them to inherently trust me because I'm wearing scrubs and a badge, and I don't get offended if they don't. Many Black women are coming in to have a baby already having experiences of not being listened to. And until I'm able to prove to them that I'm someone that can be trusted, they shouldn't trust me. More than my white patients, I emphasize the fact that I will always believe them. Yes, my white patients know also that I will believe them, but I really, really drive it home that I promise you that I'm going to believe everything they say. I include every single person in the room who is supporting this patient in a conversation about preeclampsia, even if they don't have it. Because preeclampsia is one of the leading causes of maternal mortality in the United States. And preeclampsia can happen even after you've had your baby. I tell them about the symptoms, and I also tell the support people that if you hear her saying any of these things, make sure that she gets seen. And if when she gets seen, you don't feel like she's being listened to, go somewhere else. I let them know that I'm here to be their birth bouncer, and I'm not going to let anyone do anything to them, only for them and their baby with their permission. I can neither confirm nor deny whether I have slapped a provider's hand away when the patient said no. I don't know anything about that. I have no hard data to back this up, but I have a hypothesis that Black women are not being repositioned in labor as much as white women. So my patients know, and I will say this, that I'm going to turn you like a rotisserie chicken, because movement is gold in labor, especially after you have an epidural. If when we have a baby, I don't like the amount of bleeding that I'm seeing, I am early talking to that provider about, hey, what do you think about maybe giving a little bit of Cytotec? What do you think about putting in a Jada? Because postpartum hemorrhage is the leading cause of maternal death. I will always use whatever privilege I have to make sure that my patients are heard. That's why it's so important to treat your Black patients differently. And if you're a colorblind nurse, you're part of the problem. Anytime that I talk about Black maternal mortality on these interwebs and how we as healthcare providers must treat our Black patients differently. There's always a comment like this, several actually, and it can be frustrating. That's not even the right word. I don't even have the right word. It can be, insert whatever I'm feeling right now, to read these comments, because it just proves how much farther we have to go to make sure that Black and brown women are treated based on their risk. Because that's what it is, right? Black and brown women are 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, as likely as their white counterparts to have adverse outcomes / death in and around childbirth. So, in seeking to be a bridge, here's what I want to walk through with you. I want to be your gateway drug to wanting to give equitable care. So because you are a nurse, let's walk something out together. Let's say that you are working on a med-surg floor, okay? You've got basic med-surgy type patients, and I give you an admission. And during this admission that I'm giving you, I say, hey, this person is 4 times as likely as all of your other patients to have a heart attack in your care. What are you going to do about that? Would you maybe put them on the monitor? Would you maybe talk to the doctor about drawing some cardiac enzymes? Would you be in more frequently to assess maybe chest pain level or level of consciousness? Would you do those things? Or would you just treat them just like everybody else? It doesn't mean that you're not checking the blood sugar of your diabetic patient. It doesn't mean that you're not measuring the output on your nephrology patient, but it means that you have nursey assessment skills to understand that the risk that someone is carrying around requires different care. And this mentality is just like the all lives matter type of deflection away from the equitable care that our patients need. I give each one of my patients the care that they need and that they deserve. Does it mean that I take care away from the white lady to give to the Black lady? No. This is not a pie, okay? There's no pie involved in this. But just like if I assess with my nursing assessment skills that my patient is wearing a hijab, that tells me, hey, there might be some cultural considerations that I need to go the extra mile for on this person. Is she or is she not comfortable with males in the room? Because I know that there's a male anesthesiologist on today. That might become an issue, so let's talk about it now. If I know that my patient, statistically, is less likely to be believed in a healthcare setting, how is that going to affect my care? If I know that my patient is less likely to have her pain adequately managed, how is that going to affect my care? And if you use your nursing assessment skills to recognize that the color of someone's skin automatically puts them at a higher risk, and that doesn't affect your care, you should not be treating people. To understand that the risk that someone is carrying around.
Okay, this is I love the point of this video and stuff, but I'm realizing, like, I've had conversations on my Patreon recently about this, and I think this line and this line of thinking is where the information does not translate in like a humanized way, right? Like the 4 times adverse impact, like we aren't carrying the risk. Yes, epigenetics and stuff impacts our bodies, but like the risk is that we are interacting with people that don't believe us, that think we yell louder, that read the books. Like it's the books that tell you we don't know our own pain levels. So when you're saying they're at risk, like we're at risk, it's of interacting with harmful healthcare workers. It's not that we walk, like if healthcare was not based in racism, we wouldn't be carrying around the risk, right? So like I just want to center where the harm is, who is harmed and how. And it's not that we just walk around like it's not like, oh, we're more likely to experience a heart attack. We're more likely to end up in a place where no one thinks we are at risk for one. So when it happens, everyone is shocked and no one's prepared and no one believes for a long time. And then boom, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, what you should be doing is watching your coworkers more. You should be talking more to your coworkers, not paying special attention to the Black people necessarily. I don't think it's wrong. I just think the harm isn't coming from within Blackness. And I think that's kind of the message that gets spread with the whole 3 times, 4 times more likely to experience bad stuff from white people. I think we miss like the silent part of racism is that it's silently in there. You got to find it. That's the problem. It's not the Blackness. Blackness doesn't increase our risk. Blackness around white people and white systems designed to oppress us, put us at risk. That's why, like, during segregation, when we had all Black teachers, let's just deal with this first. Check out my Patreon. I know Jen doesn't follow me, so like, it kind of almost like reinforces just like my own thing. Check me out. Places.
To understand that the risk that someone is carrying around.
Okay. This is I love the point of this video and stuff, but I'm realizing like I've had conversations on my Patreon recently about this, and I think this line of thinking is where the information does not translate in like a humanized way, right? Like the 4 times adverse impact, like we aren't carrying the risk. Yes, epigenetics and stuff impacts our bodies, but like the risk is that we are interacting with people that don't believe us, that think.
Well, hello there, Mutual. I love you, and if you're offended by this video, I'll take it down. Just inbox me. But I was going to make a video very similar to yours. The way that she spoke about it was not taking accountability for her own race. In the context of childbirth, which she used, it was as if something's wrong with Black women that need extra care. Now, if it was surrounding bone density, something like that, that is different from other races, we could have worked with that, but not in childbirth. You said everything. Black people are 4 times more likely to die in childbirth, no matter the socioeconomic status and the health status. Meaning that a poor white person is more likely to survive than a rich, healthy Black person. It's medical racism. But in the end of the video, you mentioned the white supremacist system, which I agree with, right? But only on one level. It is not just white people who discriminate against us. But if we're talking about the safety of Black women during childbirth, we're talking about medical racism towards all Black people, right? So to say and only point out white supremacist system, it limits the knowledge of the danger. Yes, white supremacist system put this in place, but it's not just white people that are threatening our lives. And I know when y'all hate when I say I'm against BIPOC unity, but it is a reality you are going to have to live in. And it is not right to limit it to just white people. And you technically didn't exactly do that. You said white supremacist system. But because you didn't say all of it and then just said white supremacist system, people are thinking white. We are in danger from all non-Black people. Whether you want to do the unity or not, they have slurs for us in their culture. That is important. That is an issue. Because if there is a slur that is known in their culture, their race, their ethnicity, whatever. It means there's a long-standing belief that black people are inferior. I need y'all to stop playing like your mamas and your grandmamas didn't tell y'all. I'm saying this because I've always talked about this, because I'm trying to protect you. I'm trying to give you awareness. I'm sorry, it's not just white people that you are in danger of. When you go in there and you get a non-black provider, if you get a non-black provider, you are going to have to always be on your toes, because of how this world was structured to hate black people. That bias is internalized. We are the most hated. We cannot sit here and pretend we're not. White people are not our only threat in the medical field, and all of you know it. 10 out of 10. Well, hello there. These comments were left on my video talking about how medical racism doesn't just come from white people towards black people, that other races are involved in medical racism towards black people. Let's read your second comment first. I'm also aware that this might not be a conversation for me, so I invite that call in if this is not my business. So let's break that one down. The first thing is call in. The fact that you use the word call in lets me know that you're used to a side of TikTok where black people explain shit to white people. I don't do that. The only reason I'm using your comment is because I knew a question like this would come up, and I want to explain shit to my people. The very fact that you say, I'm also aware that this might not be a conversation for me, but you still left the comment, lets me know this is completely performative. You can get away with this shit somewhere else, but not here. Y'all say this type shit as like a safety net. Hey, I know I said something, that had nothing to do with me, and I'm going to say it anyway, but also, poor little white woman, if you need to call me in, I'll change my mistakes. Just poor little white woman. That white women fragility bullshit. The fuck out of here with that. Now let's get to your main comment. As a white person listening very closely, it feels like some of the pressure is removed off us when other races/ethnicities are looped in the discourse. It distances us from greater accountability. Baby, that's because you never felt accountability in the first place, or you were looking for a way out to remove that pressure. Because think about it. If I say bleach is poisonous, don't drink it. And then someone else comes in and says the lemon scented bleach is also poisonous. Does that make the regular bleach less poisonous? No, I'm just letting you know that it's more than one bleach that can kill you. It's also giving very much what's wrong with y'all. You always want to be the center of attention, no matter if it's good, no matter if it's bad. Y'all are just, it's all about y'all. We're the only ones putting you in danger. And your use of the word pressure is interesting too. Pressure is when you apply force on an object, or when you have to persuade and convince someone continuously to do something. It's exerting a force on something that's pushing back. If you feel like you really want to be not racist, why would you feel any pressure about something that you should be doing anyway? If you had your favorite food in front of you, since I always got to use a fucking example, and you're hungry and you want it, and let's say you're in the midst of eating it, and I say, eat your food, am I pressuring you? No, because you're already doing it and you already want to do it. But my real thing is, how dare you tell a black person that we should focus on you more and not talk about the danger we're in from non-white people too? You're doing exactly what y'all have always done. Just now you allies are doing it in some type of way that you think is covert. Because that's y'all's mentality. Telling niggas what they should be worried about. No, I'm going to tell my people about all the danger. Me talking about other races hurting us does not take away at all any little portion of y'all's contribution to our danger, to our death. Y'all motherfuckers had us enslaved. People want to put a definitive date on when slavery ended back in the 1800s, but it didn't. Sharecropping became the new slavery. When it was illegal to own slaves, y'all's treatment remained the same. Y'all controlled everything that we could and could not do, including still killing us, but also our economic development y'all controlled. You basically told us when we could and couldn't eat and how much. Even during segregation, when we over here and y'all over there, we were still enslaved. Y'all still determined if we would get to survive or not. That's why y'all burned our towns. That's why y'all drowned them. There are plenty of lakes with black towns underneath. Y'all still determined if our little children were able to live or die. Y'all burnt black boys in the back of a truck. Y'all burnt black little girls in a church. Y'all hung black men, black women, all through the 1900s too. And y'all still do. Because black people, no matter your socioeconomic status, is still determined by what white people want to give you. And it's beneficial for some of us to have money so that we would be quiet. Because look, that nigga made it. That means it's possible for me to make it too. But you still gonna have to jump through all them hoops that white people put in place. Your ass not free. Because when you ask for freedom and massa give it, massa can take it away. Because you can't ask for freedom. You have to demand it if you want to keep it. You have to fight for it if you want to keep it. And I'm not just talking about talking and writing bills. Go back on subject. Y'all are dangerous bleach if we drink it, and they dangerous bleach if we drink it. We are dying. We don't have the luxury to sit there and try to separate the different levels of racism. What did Malcolm X say? If a snake bite my child, I'm going out there and I'm going to kill every snake that I find. I'm not going to just try to find that one snake. And don't try to fuck up my words. I was using a quote, an analogy. It's crazy because black people's lives matter so little to y'all that you're admitting that we have to keep full focus on y'all to do the right thing, which you're not going to do. I can multitask. I can watch y'all and them, and my people need to do the same. 10 out of fucking 10.
America could have had nice things. Universal health care. Possible. Affordable college. Absolutely. A strong middle class. Should have been a given. But instead, this country chose racism over progress. And now everyone's paying for it. Because every time America had a chance to build something that benefited everybody, the thought of black people having access to it was apparently too much to handle. Instead of progress, we got a country that actively made life harder for itself, just to keep black people down. Universal health care. Not if black people get it too. Back in the 1940s, America had a chance to create a universal healthcare system. Other countries did it, but the US? Nah. Now, you may be asking yourself, why? Because universal healthcare meant that black people could go to the same hospitals as white people and potentially get treated like an actual human being. And they just couldn't have that. Southern politicians outright said that they wouldn't support it if it meant desegregation. Instead of universal healthcare, we got employer-based insurance. And that left millions of people uninsured, and we all know a hospital bill can bankrupt you. And now, even white people in states that fought so hard against universal health care, they're struggling just to afford insulin. Rural hospitals are shutting down because states are refusing federal funding. Medical debt is the #1 cause of bankruptcy. But hey, at least they didn't have to share a waiting room, right? Affordable college, though. Let's talk about that. Once upon a time, public colleges were affordable. California's public universities, they were basically free. Tuition in other states? So cheap, you could pay for it with a summer job. Can you imagine? And then the civil rights movement happened. more Black students gained access to higher education. And instead of just letting people go to school, states started slashing education budgets. Public universities raised tuition, federal aid shifted from grants to loans, and suddenly higher education became a debt trap. And now, Americans are over $1.7 trillion in student debt. An entire generation is financially crippled for simply getting an education. And even jobs that require degrees don't pay enough to cover the costs. America was so determined to keep Black students out, they ended up locking everyone into lifelong debt instead. Now, home ownership. You know what builds generational wealth? Owning a home. After World War II, the government gave white families access to cheap home loans, setting them up for success. Black families locked out of those programs, thanks to redlining and racist lending processes. And when Black people did buy homes, white flight drained resources from those neighborhoods. So if we fast forward to today, the housing market is a literal nightmare. Wages haven't kept up with home prices. Millennials and Gen Z can barely afford rent, let alone buy a property. America's fear of Black home ownership helped create a market where now nobody can afford a house. Now let's talk about strong unions. Back in the day, unions were powerful. They fought for better wages, job security, and benefits. And Black workers, they were leading some of the biggest labor movements. What did corporations and politicians do? They went to war with the unions. Reagan set the tone by firing striking air traffic controllers in 1981. Companies spent decades breaking unions, outsourcing jobs, and replacing full-time work with gig jobs. Right-to-work laws made organizing harder. And now most workers were left with stagnant wages and no protection. America didn't want to give Black workers bargaining power, so they weakened unions across the board and made everyone suffer. This country could have had universal health care. It could have had free college. It could have had a strong working class and affordable housing. But every time America had the choice between progress and keeping Black people out, it picked the latter. And now, instead of just screwing over Black people, the entire system is broken. They deny Black people health care. Now the whole country's drowning in medical debt. They locked Black students out of college. Now everyone is shackled with student loans. They stopped Black home ownership. Now the housing market is a disaster. They fought Black-led unions. Now wages are stagnant for everyone. America wanted to keep Black people down so badly, it dragged itself down with us. And the wildest part is that people are still out here pretending to be surprised.
This is all I got from this video, and a very big shout out to everybody that spoke out on this, especially the Black women. The reality is that some of these people really do not understand how they step into Black discussion without actually thinking right? I mean, you all are not the one experiencing this. And the truth is that they actually see people, like especially at work and all that, see their own people do some certain things to people that look like me, especially when they are in their lowest, right? It's either they ignore or do some certain kind of things. Medical racism is not new to Black people, and this should never ever be happening. But because the foundation is very wrong, I don't know if you understand what I mean by the foundation. This is something these people have been doing from the onset, right? And sometimes it transfers from generation to generation to generation because it's like the way they operate. They have already saw other people, especially their senior colleagues, speaking that people that look like me do not experience pains, or people like me do not go through this and all that. Right? What do they do? They continue from where their senior colleagues stop and then transfer it to their younger ones. I don't know if you all remember, like about 2-3 years ago, that there was this pandemic of nurses that are in school, nurses or the ones that are in school, coming out so rare to the seas, and that gave Black people so much shock. I don't think if they were in shock because this has always been something they experienced, but they were in shock that people come out boldly to do things like this, and then they tell you that they are in medical field. Now, I am not going to lie. All these are the things that I see, and the best I do. The only thing I tell myself is that Black people need more medical doctors and nurses. And okay, now that I am saying this, I am also thinking of going back to school again. This time around, it's going to be on health related because enough is enough. Now, you all remember that I posted a video about a Latino woman that mislabeled a Black woman's name, Kiara King, and she wrote King Kong from how. We might call this micro aggression, but this is, for me, I think it's outright racism, right? Then, when their own people see all this happening, they do not do the right thing. And then when they want to talk about it, they don't talk about it in the right way. Medical apartheid is a thing. You people do not experience what Black people experience. And sometimes I sit down, I don't want to think about this. Why do I not want to think about it? I do not want to think about it because I never in my entire life believed that somebody like me will go to hospital, where they save life. And somebody is looking me like, you look me dead in my eyes and see that I am going through it. And you are trying to tell me how I am feeling when I am the one feeling it, when I am the one going through it. I remember there was a video that circulated online last week about a Black man. He is sickle cell. He came to the hospital and he was in pain. He was groaning. People around thought he was going to pass away. Right? Why that was happening for almost 34 hours, he lay on the floor. People were passing, going back and forth. Nothing happened. And I saw Black people in the comment section. Can we have the doctor? Can we have the hospital number? So this is how Black people will continue moving around, trying to save themselves. When the people that are in the hospital that has been positioned to save you are not saving you. Also, you see one of the reasons why when Black people go to hospital, they will tell you, yes, a Black person is in the hospital, but they are never alone. They are never alone because you make them not. They don't feel safe. They do not feel safe. So the best they can do is to protect themselves. And why do they like to be the center of everything? You are not the last woman that Crystal Black stitched. You are not supposed to be the one speaking on that. But she still found a way to talk about it. Why is universal basic health care not a thing? I love how that woman spoke extensively on it because they thought people that look like me are going to. That is to tell you how bad this system is. Very horrible system. But bye for now.